Welcome to Calculated Friction. I'm Silas. This is English practice for the curious. We skip the simple stories and dive straight into the strange, the complex, and the unfiltered. Episode 1. Dreams are not nonsense. Let's get something out of the way. I'm not talking about your dream of becoming a doctor or an Instagram model. I'm not talking about your goals for the future. I'm talking about actual dreams. The ones you have when you're sleeping at night. You know, running down a hallway that never ends or suddenly being naked at your old school. Those dreams. So here's my hot take. Those dreams are not nonsense. You should pay attention to them. You should even write them down. But first, let's look at what dreams actually are. When you sleep, you go through different stages. One of the stages is called REM, which stands for rapid eye movement. This stage is very important for saving memories, and it is when you dream. Dreams are very complex. That is why they feel like nonsense. Usually, anything we don't understand feels like nonsense. But what is really happening is that your brain is taking the strong emotions and events from your day and packing them tightly together. It turns them into symbols. The nonsense you see in your dreams is just your memory in its rawest form before your waking mind can categorize it, organize it, and then present it to you. Okay, that got complicated really fast. Stay with me though. Think about the word hangry. We have the word angry and the word hungry. Often we feel angry because we are hungry. So we made up a new word. We mixed two words together. We compressed the information. I am angry because I am hungry became I am hangry. This is basically what your brain does when you dream, but it is doing it with information that is much, much more complex. Imagine one of your friends just got a new kitten today, and you went there and you met the kitten. When you go to sleep, your brain wants to save that memory. But it is not like saving a video on your phone. You will remember what you thought about your friend buying a cat when they have no money. You will remember the warm, happy feeling when the kitten climbed your leg. You will remember wanting your own kitten, even though you usually prefer dogs. It is not just a picture of a kitten. It is your whole identity and your past mixing with that single moment. All of these mixed feelings will be packed tightly together into a symbol. At first, it will make no sense. In your dream, the kitten might not even look like a kitten at all. It might look like a baby, for example. I know this sounds a bit abstract, so let's look at a real example. To protect privacy, I won't share real names, but this actually happened. Once upon a time in Brazil, a woman started going to therapy. Her problem was that she kept having sudden outbursts of anger at her fiancé. She didn't know why. Her family told her she needed therapy to save her relationship. During therapy, she told her therapist about a dream she kept having. It felt like a nightmare, even though nothing scary was actually happening. In the dream, she was walking down the street, going home. Then, she saw her fiancé's car. Inside the car, there was a large dog and a woman. The dog was acting like a pet does when its owner comes home. It was jumping around, wagging its tail, and licking her face. The dog was so happy, and the woman was happy too. But as the dreamer walked closer to the car, she felt a terrible sense of dread. She felt like she was in incredible danger. She got more and more scared until finally she woke up. Makes no sense, right? A dog happy to see a stranger in her boyfriend's car shouldn't be terrifying. If you had that dream, you would probably just laugh. But the dream kept happening, so it bothered her. So the therapist started asking questions. First, what did the car mean? Well, her fiancé drove her everywhere in that car. She went to work in it. She bought groceries in it. Her partner was literally driving her through her daily life. It makes perfect sense that the car was in her dream. Then the therapist asked, had there been a dog in the driver's seat before? No, neither of them owned the dog. And who was that woman? She was a complete stranger, just a pretty young woman. Then one day in real life, the dreamer was walking home. She saw her boyfriend's car parked in the same spot as in her dream. Suddenly, a terrible memory rushed back into her mind. Her brain had hidden this memory to protect her. A few months before, she had walked past that exact spot. She saw her fiancé in his car passionately kissing another woman. She had stood there, frozen. Then she walked away and forced herself to forget it ever happened. The shock was so painful that her mind just shut it out. He was her first love and her whole future. But there he was with someone else. Now, in Brazilian and Portuguese, people often call a man who cheats or behaves badly a dog. So, in the driver's seat of her life, the person controlling where she went sat a dog, licking another woman's face. Not her loyal fiancé, a dog. Even though she hid her memory, her brain kept the painful feeling. Once you understand this dream, you see that it was actually more honest than her waking thoughts. Awake, she called him an angel. Asleep, her dreams show her the truth. He was a dog. Our dreams show what we truly feel without any filters. In our dreams, the lies we tell ourselves do not work. It is where our real truth lives. But this truth is written in a secret code. That code is unique to you. That is why there's no magic formula to tell you what your dream means. The good news is you can crack your own code. You just need to write your dreams down and pay close attention. If you don't write them down, you will forget them. That is how the brain works, so do not skip this step. As you do this, you will learn how your mind really works. You might even find some ugly truths about yourself that you do not want to see. But why is this so important? Let's look at an ancient quote from the Bible, from Romans chapter 7. I do not understand what I do. For what I want to do, I do not do. But what I hate, I do. Have you ever wondered why we do things we wish we didn't? Why do we have bad habits we can't control? Why do we ruin our own success? It is the hidden part of ourselves. We know some parts of our personality well. Other parts we push away and hide. We suppress them. If you are listening to this and you are gay, you might know what I mean. Do you remember telling people you were straight? Do you remember truly believing it? You were not trying to lie. You really did not know, even if it was obvious to others. There is a very big difference between something being true in your mind and you actually knowing it is true. We hide parts of ourselves because we think they break the rules of society, but those parts are still there. Some people hide their anger. Some people hide their sexuality or their ambition. When you hide a feeling and lock it in the dark basement of your mind, it grows into a scary monster. Every now and then, it breaks out of the basement and destroys the things we love. A sudden flash of anger that ends a friendship. One night of bad choices that ruins a marriage. A lost opportunity that leaves you poor when you didn't have to be this way. This monster is not really a monster, though. If you bring it into the light and accept who you truly are, you can use that energy for good. But you have to be brave enough to go down into the basement and turn on the light. Listen to your dreams, especially the nightmares. To finish, I want to share a nightmare of my own. Because what is the worth of all this talk if I leave myself out of it? When I was 4 years old, I lived in a very poor area called Nova Iguaçu. That's in Brazil. There were no paved streets, no good sanitation, and a lot of disease and violence. My mother was raising 3 kids alone and working 2 jobs to make ends meet, which meant I hardly ever saw her. It was just me and my older sisters. Every night I had the exact same nightmare. I would scream in my sleep and wet the bed. In the dream, my sisters, my best friend Diego, and I were at home. Suddenly, our bathroom door turned into the entrance of a dark cave. My sisters walked in with a friend of theirs. Diego and I were little, so we had to follow them because those were the rules. They were in charge. So we followed them in. The older girl stood there talking about things I didn't understand, and I was playing with glass marbles with Diego. Suddenly, one of my marbles fell into a deep crater in the ground. It looked like a volcano almost, with fire inside. I looked down into the hole to find the marble, and a huge lizard face stared back at me. "A dragon! There's a dragon!" I shouted. Everyone dashed towards the apartment, but I was the smallest and the slowest. The dragon was catching up to me, and I yelled for my older sister. She came back, picked me up, and ran us to safety. When we got to the apartment, my aunt walked in, and the moment I saw her, I knew everything was safe. Now, if you break this dream down, it is simple to understand because I was only 4. First, the dark cave easily represented the danger and uncertainty of where I lived. Second, it was very clear that I relied on my older sister to feel any sense of safety whatsoever. And finally, my aunt. You see, as a kid, I had this silly prejudice where I thought that if a person was physically bigger, they were stronger. My aunt was an obese woman, and to me, she was the biggest person in the whole world. She was so big, in fact, that she didn't need to run from the dragon. She could fight it because she was so strong. My sister could carry me, but she still had to run. My aunt? No, my aunt could fight it. And not only that, whenever I was with her, she gave me delicious food I couldn't ever have at home, and her husband treated me very well. Whenever I was with her, it wasn't a scary cave. It was actually safe. She didn't live in the projects. So you see, dreams are not nonsense. They are more real than reality. So tell me this. What is the last dream you remember? Thank you for listening to Calculated Friction. This was a bit wild, right? Get used to it. There's more of this coming. Don't give up on learning English, and you might find yourself speaking about these insane topics in English too. If you're wondering why I speak the way I do, you might want to check out episode 0, where I explain the purpose of this podcast. Take care.